Hello? Hello, can we hear me?
Yes, sir. Hello, we can hear clearly.
All right, thank you very much. Sorry, it's my network that has been ceasing since. I've been trying to join the meeting. I'm sorry. Our prof is on seat. But before we start, we are going to read the citation of Prof. Prof, thank you for accepting our invitation. We really appreciate you, sir. Sister Janet, are you online?
I'm here. Good
Sister
afternoon, sir.
Janet, okay, the secretary to the PGSA. All right, over to you. You're welcome. Over to you.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, Professor Adedoyin. Good afternoon, honorable members of PGSA and everyone here. Thank you for attending this meeting. My name is Janet Oke, as rightfully said, and I'll be reading the citation of our guest speaker today, who is Professor Rufus Soji Adedoyin. Professor Rufus Soji Adedoyin is a renowned academic and healthcare expert, specializes in cardiopulmonary physiotherapy and exercise science. He currently serves as a professor in the Department of Medical Rehabilitation of the Faculty of Basic Medical Sciences at Obafemi Awolowo University, Ife, where he has been a prominent figure for nearly 3 decades. Professor Adedoyin holds a Bachelor of Medical Rehabilitation in Physiotherapy, a Master of Science in Physiotherapy, and a Doctor of Philosophy in Physical Education, all from Obafemi Awolowo University. In 2021, he earned a Master of Business Administration from the same institution, thereby enhancing his expertise in leadership and administration. In his academic career, Professor Adedoyin has held several influential roles, including Vice Dean, the Dean of the Faculty of Basic Medical Sciences between 2017 and 2021. He has also acted as the head of the Department of Medical Rehabilitation for 7 years. During his tenure as Dean, he spearheaded the establishment of innovative academic programs such as undergraduate programs in clinical audiology and human nutrition and dietetics. He also served on the governing board of the Obafemi Awolowo University Teaching Hospitals Complex between 2018 and 2021, where he contributed to the growth of healthcare education and services. As a prolific researcher, Professor Adedoyin has made groundbreaking contributions in cardiopulmonary physiotherapy and exercise science, as he has authored over 250 scholarly articles in esteemed national and international journals. With over 54,976 citations on Google Scholar and an H index of 49, alongside an I-10 index of 95, Professor Adedoyin is the most cited scholar at OAU. I think he deserves a round of applause for that. Professor Adedoyin is affiliated with prestigious organizations such as the International Association for the Study of Pain, the American Association of Respiratory Care, and the British Association for Cardiac Rehabilitation. He served as president of the Association of Clinical and Academic Physiotherapists of Nigeria between 2016 and 2020, showcasing his leadership in advancing physiotherapy practice and education within Nigeria and beyond the coast. His excellence has been recognized through numerous awards, including the Distinguished Physiotherapist Award by the Nigeria Society of Physiotherapy in 2002, and the Outstanding Lecturer Award for Southwest Nigeria in 2017. In 2021, he was ranked among the top 10 scholars at OAU, and he featured in global ranking of the top 2% scientists for 2023. I give a round of applause on behalf of everybody for that, sir. Beyond the academia, Professor Adedoyin is deeply committed to community service. He organizes annual stroke and hypertension awareness programs, donates ambulatory aids to individuals with disabilities, and promotes youth development through sports initiatives. He is the chairman of the successful Christian Mission Football Club in Ile-Ife and organizes the annual Pastor Professor Rufus Adedoyin annual Peace Football Competition. Professor Adedoyin is a visionary leader who has secured several research grants, including funding from the World Heart Federation Emerging Leaders Program, the International Physical Activity and Environment Network, and the African Thoracic Society, to mention a few. These grants have supported impactful research on cardiovascular health promotion and the influence of built environments on physical activity in Nigeria. If we will delve into Professor Adedoyin's personal life, he is a general overseer of the successful Christian Mission Church in Ile-Ife. He's a devoted family man, an Arsenal Football Club fan, and a passionate advocate for education, healthcare, and community development. His remarkable career and contributions exemplify his dedication to excellence and his unwavering commitment to improving lives through education, research, and service. And so, it is my singular honor to welcome Professor Rufus Adedoyin, distinguished, soon-to-be emeritus professor, to this platform this afternoon. You are welcome, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I want to especially welcome to this presentation, the Manuscript Writing Skills and Strategies for Publishing High-Impact Journals. I'm very happy for the invitation. My pleasure to present this paper to us, and I believe that we'll gain one or two things that will spur us to publishing high-impact journals. I believe many of us are still young, and our blood is still very hot. It is very nice to start young, rather than when you are old. When you are old, you may not be able to form the habit of writing. When you are young, you can still adapt and you can still cope to the rigors of publishing. Okay, so sorry for technical itch. So let me start by this quote from Obafemi Gyol. Research is seeing what everybody else has seen and thinking what nobody else has thought. So anybody that wants to settle for status quo may not be a researcher, may not be a good researcher. So, but if you want to challenge things, you want to challenge what people are doing almost every day, every year, you want to challenge why people do such things. Why do we still use old things? Is there no better things of doing things? When you begin to have that critical thinking, then you are a researcher, and you begin to explore how you can make change, to whatever thing that we are doing. Then you are a researcher that's about to change the narrative of whatever is happening in the world. Okay, so let's start by saying, look at the importance of publishing high-impact journals. There's advantages of doing that rather than publishing low-impact journal. It will enhance visibility and recognition. You will be visible to the world. People will know you and you'll be recognized, worldwide. You gain recognition for the excellence which you are doing. Then career advancements, you can advance your career by publishing high-impact journals. Your career can be enhanced, can be invited to a lot of organizations to come and present. They can invite you for conferences, workshops, and then your career will be enhanced. Number 3 is scientific credibility and quality assurance. You are supporting the scientific ideas, then you are supporting the credibility and quality assurance. There's a study, how pure is pure water? How pure is pure water? When they look at the pure water, they did the analysis and they found out there are some microbes and organisms that's even in the pure water, that we are drinking. So that's to prove to scientific, that is quality assurance, to know whether whatever we are getting is credible. Okay, so impact on the feed. Your feed will be enhanced. You can improve the knowledge base of your feed if you are publishing. Okay, can improve the quality and the betterment of your feed when you are publishing. So you can have access to wider audience because many people read high impact journal, reach out to many people. So you have access to wider audience. Then we have a higher citation potentials. When you are publishing a high impact journal, people will reference you. And the more they reference you, the more you become prominent, and your high index begins to increase. Then you can contribute to research funding. You can get funding, from donors organization, from corporate body. If your work attracts them, they can invite you, to come and get fund, to do more studies. Institutional benefit. Your institution will also benefit from the webometry ranking because they also use your inputs, to judge your institution. So your institution can benefit from your publication in terms of ranking. Then personal and professional development. You develop yourself personally and professionally. Your professionalism will improve. Okay. Then there are attributes of a scholar. If you want to be a publisher in an academic journal, you want to become a scholar, then you must have some attributes. Number 1, expertise and mastery in the field. Your field, you must be skilled in your field. You must know whatever is happening in your field. You must be masters in your field before you can become an expert. Okay. Then you must have strong research skill. You must develop skill in research, in publication, because there are skills, you must develop it very well. Originality and innovation, you must be original in whatever you are doing, not copying people, must be original in whatever you are doing. And then you have innovation, you have the idea of innovation, you have the knowledge of innovation. Then you pay attention to details. Every details that publication, that research require, you must be able to pay it, able to bear the pains of going through all those rigors. Then you must develop effective writing and communication. You must be able to write well, looking at this, the standard of writing that's acceptable, in high impact journal. You must be able to learn it and able to communicate appropriately, very well. Okay. And then you must be able to collaborate and networking. Research is not done alone, especially in science. You need collaboration, you need teamwork, so you're able to work in the team, be able to network, even if network people in abroad, people in outside your domain, within Nigeria, outside Nigeria, you're able to network. You must not shy away from communicating with people and working with people to collaborate for research. It's not always a personal issue that you want to take glory. If you are 5, you are 10. There are some study that 1,000 people are authors. So the more the merrier, then the more the importance of that studies. You must be persistent and resilience. You must be persistent and resilience. There are some things that people criticize, that no, nobody has done it. Don't listen to people like that. You go your way and begin to do the study. Don't get discouraged. Even when you get the reviewers' comments, Some people get discouraged. They may not able to do the revision, and then they abandon the paper. No, you have to be resilient. You have to go out for it, do the correction and submit. Understanding of publishing dynamics. You must study the dynamics of writing, of publication. Okay, you must learn it, and then you must be able to follow it very well. Then ethical integrity is a key. You must have integrity in whatever you are doing. You must not cook data, you must not inflate data. Whatever result you get, that is what you report. That's what you report. Don't be tempted to do manipulation of data or put data anywhere. So collect data and report it as it is. Okay, so adaptability and growth mindset. You have to adapt to culture of writing. Okay, so you have to adapt to the culture of writing, and then you have to grow too. Each of them have to grow. You have to have growth mindset. Don't do the status quo. Don't go on the. Don't stay on at the spot. Always find yourself moving forward all the time. Always learning. Anybody that stop learning will die. Okay, so but if you're going to learn, going to grow more and more. Time management and organization. Okay, you must be able to manage yourself. You must be able to organize yourself very well. When you are yet to marry, you can have time, you may have less time. But immediately you married, things change. Immediately you are working, if you are in academics, and then you don't have enough staff, you have to take many courses, you have to supervise so many students. You know that time management is very important organization. Otherwise, you're not able to write anything. When you are not organized, you're able to write anything. Please, after this lecture, the Zoom may go off, or you have to re-enter it again, so to link you back into the system again. Okay. So time management is very important, and organization. Then, when you want to publish in high impact journal, there are standards, general standards in all journals, in all fields. Okay. Number one, you first select the journal of your interest. Select, identify that journal before preparing your manuscript. You identify the journal you want to publish in. Then when you obtain it, you go and read instruction to author very, very well, to details, because that is where the acceptance starts. If you don't comply with their instructions, they are not likely to give you opportunity to submit. So you pay attention to the length of the manuscript. So manuscript will say, okay, 6,000 words. Some will say 10,000 words or more. So you know the length of that manuscript. Then the reference style. Don't use another reference style for a particular genre. Doesn't want it. So look at the reference style. You know the style of that references. So I will advise you to get. So we are looking at we should select a journal of interest, should read the instruction to the author very well, how to pay attention to the length of the manuscript, the writings, the reference styles. You have to adapt with the reference style, and then you have to know the sections of the manuscript that journal demands. There are some journals that require nature review in their own journal, and some did not require it. So you have to note it and familiar with the procedure. Okay. Then the publishing requirements again require rigorous investigation before you choose a impact journal. Your research must be rigorous. research must be conducted according to the certain standard and control appropriately. Methodology is very important. It must be watertight. You must be able to do a lot in the methodology. Then relevance. Research must be useful, be consumable, readable, meaningful, and value adding. So if you don't add any value to knowledge, there's no point in publishing such article. If the article cannot be conducted by any other person again to repeat that study, that means it's not clear. That means that study is not necessary. And then that research must also be very, very interesting for people to want to read it, want to read that article. Okay. Sorry. So it must be very interesting. Now, the first page of your manuscript must have the author's name. You must have the title of the project or the manuscript. You must have the title, you must have author's name, the affiliations, their emails, the lead author, and the corresponding author. It doesn't matter that the lead author doesn't matter to become the corresponding author. There may be another author that's called corresponding author that will be receiving the message from the editor. Okay? It may be the one able to submit the article to the journal. So the correspondence between the corresponding author and the editor. Okay, so normal manuscript section, the normal standards. Number one is abstract, introduction, method, results, discussion, conclusion, acknowledgement, if there's any, references, and the appendices. So these are the normal structure. Let's start from abstract. So your manuscript will start with the abstract. That is the summary of entire research paper. I must be able to stand alone. Anybody must be able to read it and understand what the work is all about. Must be able to understand what is the conclusion or the result that paper is able to stand alone. And then you start with background. The background of the study, must be presented in a catchy way that people that read it want to go on reading it. Then method is very, very important, how you conduct the study. And method should contain, to be more than the background, should be more than the source, should be also more than the conclusion. That's why we give the detail, reachable details. So people don't know how to write this area, they just give brief information that will not tell what the authors has done. It's wrong. You have to tell us briefly what you have, how do you collect your data, the procedure, and everything have to be in the method section. Then the result, your major result, you may not repeat all the results, but major results must feature in the results section. You must be able to give all the results and then give direction of that result. If there's a significant difference, you don't say that there's a significant difference between A and B. You can also say that significant better, there's increase. So give us direction so that people will appreciate which one to choose when we want to do intervention. Okay. So then conclusion too. Conclusion is your major result. Some people write recommendation under this. It's not recommendation, it's conclusion. The major result is what you conclude in that study. What will take home from that study. That is a conclusion. Then some journal will request keywords, at least 3 to 5 keywords to be put into the abstract, below the abstract. Okay. So the main body of the study contains introduction, method, result, discussion, and conclusion. And briefly, we are going to look at each section briefly. Number one, the introduction. The introduction, you must have a working title. You have a title that you work with, and then that title is what will guide you into the writing of the paper. The title can change at the end of the write-up, and revisit it and modify it. But you must have a working title, which we have variables, and all those variables are the ones that you are going to deal with when you are writing introduction. Introduction is very, very important, and it's the gateway to any manuscript. Once the introduction is not good, it is watery, it's not attractive, it's not likely, that paper may not likely seek approval. The editor may want to decline accepting it. So that's why you have to pay attention to introduction very, very well. Introduction, I say from introduction, you know whether the editor will have interest or not. So you have to start with a climax, what I call climax in the introduction. What is interesting, most interesting? I used to tell my students that when your introduction is not good, it's like you are writing a story, a book, and the hero of that book died in chapter 1. So what's the essence of reading the entire book? So it is not useful again. So once the hero died at chapter 1, that book has finished, has ended. So chapter 1 is the critical part of any manuscript and must be written, must be skillfully written to attract the reader, to attract the editor who want to read the paper and consider accepting it. So all the variables in that title is what you introduce in the introduction section. You have to introduce them, all the variables. You have to deal with them. You have to, that's an area where you do your literature review. But there may not be section for literature review, but that introduction, you have to get literature to build it up. And there must be smooth transition from one chapter to chapters. The chapter 1 must link to paragraph 1 must link to paragraph 2. Paragraph 2 must link with chapter 3. It must not be any disjointed paragraph. It must move. The transition must be very, very smooth. Okay? And then you can start with broad background view. Okay? For example, if you are working on cardiovascular disease now, if you are working on cardiovascular disease now, okay, you can say that, okay, cardiovascular disease is a major killer in the world, okay? Cardiovascular disease is a major killer in the world, okay? So globally now you have stated it. Okay, we can now move to specific, like, okay, in Africa, the death of people in Africa has reached a critical stage. Death of Africans are reached a critical stage due to cardiovascular problem. Okay, you go down to maybe sub-Saharan Africa. In sub-Saharan Africa, people now suffer from a cardiovascular disease, without major intervention due to lack of experts, due to lack of equipment, okay? So that's how you be building it now. If you're in Nigeria, and then you now zero into Nigeria. Nigeria, have the highest or the higher prevalence of these diseases due to large population. So this is how you start with broad view and then narrow down to the field of your study, okay? So, and you have to build on previous studies. All your quotes, your citation must be on previous studies and must be recent. Must not be too old. It must be recent citation that you build on. Then the style of writing is analytically and critically, okay? You analyze what is existing, what people have done. You analyze them, what people have done, okay? So after analyzing them, then critically, you now look for a critical mean, what they have not done. That is critical. That is when you now justify your own study, okay? Now come out with this, okay, globally they have studied the major cause of death is maybe nutrition. Maybe they are eating high fiber, high food that is contain fats, okay? But in this area, it is not known whether such food, can cause it in an environment that has not been studied. So you can recommend that in Africa descent, this has not been proven. Okay? That's where you also criticize it, and then you bring out your own justification for the study. Then your title must have independent and dependent variables. So you have to introduce your independent variables and dependent variables in the introduction section. Independent variables are the ones that you manipulate, the one that you use that will depend on dependent variable. Dependent variable are the variable that you measure, that are of interest, that you monitor, or that can vary, that can change due to independent variables. So you have to close your introduction with study objectives and hypotheses, if possible. Objectives or hypotheses. The aim of this study is so, and so. And we hypothesize that there will be no difference in this. So you have combined objective with hypothesis. Some may not necessarily need hypothesis, but you have to close your introduction with objective. So note that this is the gateway to your study, and find time to be able to write very well. You can, if you don't have any study ongoing, you can choose a title and begin to write introduction, give to people to read. If it makes sense, when you develop a skill in writing introduction, you are good to go. You are at least 30% a pass mark if you're able to do good introduction. That means your study will be likely be accepted. Okay. So let's look at an example of an introduction on this topic: prevalence of obesity-related hypertension among overweight or obese adults in River Nile states in Northern Sudan, a community-based cross-sectional study. The author started with hypertension as a major public health issue. That is broad. It is estimated that nearly 1/4 of adults in the world have hypertension. So that's a global one. It started with broad objective. Okay, it said the high prevalence of hypertension worldwide due to different demographics and epidemiological factors, particularly in the developing countries. So he has been going down to developing countries from global. Hypertension is leading risk factor for disability and death. Okay, disability and death. The risk factor for hypertension in Sudan has come zero into that country now. The risk factor for hypertension in Sudan and globally are age, obesity, alcohol consumption, smoking, behavioral, metabolic, and genetic factor. The prevalence of hypertension is about 30% in sub-Saharan Africa, and it's increasing over time. Okay. This prevalence and risk factor of hypertension were extensively studied in African countries. For instance, obesity is a well-recognized risk factor for developing hypertension. Okay. So it has been going down to the specific now to the country of choice. The prevalence of hypertension now was found to be 35.7%. And the prevalence of obesity is also high in Sudan, and this found to be 21.2. Obesity is socially acceptable in Sudan and considered a sign of wealth. This one is very interesting. That even there is a danger in being obese, but in that country, it's acceptable. It's a social acceptable situation. In fact, people want to be obese. People want to be fat because they think that it's a sign of good living. In fact, some people are using drugs to make them fat so that they can be accepted to people. So this is a very good quotation here that people have cited. We can interest readers because some people in the Western world want to look at it. Why should people want to be fat? So they want to read it. So this where the author wants to justify the work. The previous studies conducted in Khartoum, the capital of Sudan, and Eastern Sudan show the association of hypertension with obesity in Sudanese patients. For instance, Eastern Sudan obesity association with hypertension was found to be 32%, while in Khartoum, the capital Sudan, the prevalence was 40.2. Okay. Now, then the rationale and the gap in this study. The Refanized state is unique as large number of tribes of Sudan lives in the region. It is large agricultural hub for food and fruits, with many workers traveling to and from the region. So that is where they are making the difference from other parts of the Sudan. Okay, it's presenting as the heterogeneous part where many people are coming, where large number of agricultural hubs exist. So the study will be continuation of the series of previous studies conducted in the region about hypertension in urban, rural, and different ethnic groups in River Nile. So this study has been justified as its worth study. Another example of a gap is, look at this one now. Our previous systematic review and meta-analysis provided evidence that regular physical exercise improves physical fitness among adult asthmatics, but the evidence was insufficient to assess the effect of exercise on asthma control and quality of life. To fill in this gap in knowledge, we conducted a regular exercise and asthmatic control trial to test the hypothesis that regular exercise improves asthma control. So that is justification for their own study. So our introduction must contain this for our work to be acceptable. Okay, so that's the last part of introduction, justification, the objectives, the hypothesis if necessary. The objective is to fill in the gap knowledge. We conducted regular and asthmatic control to test the hypothesis. The regular exercises improve asthmatic control, so that combine objectives and the hypothesis together. Okay. So methodology section now. This is the major section of the manuscript. This is what determines whether paper will be accepted or rejected. It's the major aspect of the work and has to be done by the author. While the introduction is combining references, different references, adjoining references, quotation together, this is the area that the author has to write, on his own. Okay, so it's the core of the paper, and it should be verifiable, must be reproducible, meaning that whatever you do, any other person may be able to pick it and do it exactly you did it. But if there's some information that is hidden, the patient may not be able to do it. For example, now if I'm saying I'm treating some patient and I measure the blood pressure of the patient, there's something that is hidden in that you may not be able to do. If I say I'm measuring a blood pressure, I must be able to tell the position in which I measure the blood pressure. Is it on standing? Is it the patient lying? Is it the patient sitting? If I have such information, the patient will not able to do it. If I measure my own when patient is standing, and you measure your own when patient is lying, you are not going to get the same, because the difference in position affect the blood pressure. So that's the essence of giving details of procedure that you do to the public, so that they may be able to do it exactly that way. Okay? Now, there are some sections in methodology. Section 1 is participants or population. Participant or study population. You have to describe the target population, sample size, and sampling technique that you use. For people that are dealing with human subject or human participant, I'm not talking about other the feed, maybe animals or whatever, chemicals or whatever. But who are dealing with human participants is able to tell us who are your participants, how are they recruited, okay? And then you was able to tell us the population where the sample come from, and how many sample are you recruiting? You have different sample size calculation. You have sample calculation that you can do online. There are many. Whatever one that suits your study, do it and then calculate the sample size. Then sampling technique, is it random? Are you going to random them, select them randomly? Going to stratify them? You want to have equal male and female? You want to have aged or young people recruited? Or is it going to be purposeful sampling, where you just decide that, okay, these are the people that I'm going to select? They are not going to be randomized, but I'm going to select them. Okay, so you have to tell us how the participants, you get the participants. If they are patients, if they are normal individuals, you tell us where you get them from. Okay, then inclusion criteria and exclusion criteria for selecting participants. You must be able to set up inclusion criteria. Is it age range? Is there sex? Is there any attributes that you want to look before you include them in your study? Maybe they are the ones that have pain, or the people suffering from knee pain, that one they are going to recruit. Maybe you are going to exclude those people that have injury. Maybe they have accident. You are not going to recruit them, but they don't have pain, no origin. The pain just started, no paining them. So maybe they are the one that you are going to include. Their age range. Okay, so you are going to have an exclusion criteria. People that have road traffic accident, people that have trauma in their knee, discourage them. Or people that have other problems like hypertension, like diabetes, we want to exclude them from such studies. You must be able to, so that people will appreciate your participant. They will be able to know these are the participants that you are recruiting. Okay. So data collection methods is another aspect of methodology that's very key. Okay. Specify how data was collected, how you collect the data. Is it through survey, through interview, is it observation, is it experimental? Do you use any method to treat them? You measure anything. You use a questionnaire to gather the information. You must be able to tell us. So include detail about the tools or instrument used. Okay, e.g. questionnaire. Okay, you have to use questionnaire or use standardized tests, also software. You must be able to tell us, all these things. Okay. Then another very important thing is validity and reliability of the tools that you use. Many papers may get rejected on this aspect if your instrument is not validated or if your instrument is not reliable. So there are sometimes you have to do reliability and validity of your instrument. Okay, validity is ability to measure what the instrument is purported to measure. Reliability is the ability to be consistent in measurement. You measure it in day 1, and day 30, you measure it and give the same thing. That's reliability. Validity is the ability to measure what's supposed to measure. So, for example, now, if you want to measure blood pressure in your study, and we know that there are some apps now on phone, that can take blood pressure, and I can take a sugar on the phone, without touching it with your finger to read the blood pressure for you, to read your sugar for you. Now, if you want to use that for study, okay, before you can use that for study, you have to validate such instrument with the standard. The standard is a mercury sphygmanometer. It's mercury. So you have to validate it with that standard to see whether it's measuring what it's supposed to measure. So what we need to do is to get a mercury sphygmanometer, and then have like 15 people, okay? You use that feed to measure their blood pressure and you record it, okay? Then after some minutes, you use that phone app too to measure it. To measure the 15 people, they can serve at their own control. So when you measure it and then you do the correlation, okay, it will give you the validity of that instrument, whether it's valid or not valid. So if it's valid, then you can use it. If it's not valid, you use it, the study will not be acceptable. Then reliability, when you use the microscope to measure the 15 people, okay, use the the phone app to measure it. Day 1, measure it, and after 2 weeks, you measure the same set of people again. Then you correlate the two together, and then if they are the same, you have the same result. They are very close. That means that our instrument is reliable. Okay, so we must be able to, in various fields, able to do the validity. Even your questionnaire, find the ability of your questionnaire too. Okay, so very, very important to validate whatever we are doing. All right. So procedure now. Okay. Before we go to procedure, let me emphasize the essence of pre-measurements, pre-intervention measurements. Okay. Before, if you are doing intervention, you must have a baseline measurement. There was a time we got a small grant from a donor from US, and then one doctor was working on teenage pregnancy, and they wanted to give intervention to a particular community to reduce teenage pregnancy. We did the work, and when we are presenting, we just got the post intervention value that was able to improve the something by 60-something%. And I asked the question, what's the pre-measurement? What was the measurements, the percentage before you did your intervention? Unfortunately, you did not assess it. You did not assess the pre. So how, when you got 60-something, how will you be able to compare with the baseline? So the work cannot be published anywhere in the world. Okay, so, and he has a booklet, like a thesis paper that he wrote, but he has a 40 design. So that's sorry for technical issue. So we must make sure that we assess baseline measure before we give our intervention. Okay. So procedure, we have to start with the ethical consideration. We have to apply for ethical clearance from the body. that's saddled with the responsibility of giving you ethical clearance. Okay. Then you have to get consent from your patient. Written consent, you have to get it from your subject or your participant. You must be able to get consent from them before you can be recruited. The ethical clearance is very important. Now, many journals require the number, the reference number for it. You have to even put the reference number when you are submitting your manuscript. So that essence of getting it, because some people don't get it, and they just write the ethical approval was sick and was approved by so and so. But now they demand the reference, so you have to gather it. So explain the step-by-step process for conducting research. Starting from the basics, what to do to whatever subject you have. You measure their weight, measure their height, what treatment did you give them? What measurements they do measure. How do you measure it? What type of instrument do you use to measure them? All those information are critical in methodology. You must not hide any information in methodology. Be able to state all the things that you do sequentially. Okay? Detail how participants were recruited and data were gathered. So you must tell us how the participants were recruited and how the data were also gathered. So under the methodology too, you have to tell us data analysis, how you're able to analyze the data. Okay, outline the technique and tool used to analyze the data. Okay, we have a descriptive analysis and then differential analysis. Okay, you must be able to use appropriate statistical tools. If you are not good in that, consult people, so the statistician that can help you, or some authors that are very good like analysis. There are some analysis that deal with quantitative, that do with the descriptive. There are some data, static tests that you have to do for non-parametric tests, and there are some ones that go for parametric tests. So if you wrongly use it, your paper may not be accepted. That's a flaw. Then that can count against your paper. Okay, and also state the value accepted for significant difference. Is it 0.05, 0.01? So you have to state it to be able to reader be able to know at what significant level are you operating methodology. Okay, so that is a methodology. The result section is really not always that much again. Okay, so once you run your analysis and you get your data, you have to summarize your data in tables. Not everything that's come out from analysis that are useful. You have to take the one that are useful to form your table, to form your figure, to form your graphs, okay, or images, depending on that or the type of data. So this one will help you to be able to write your result very well. So you refer to your table. So in the table, your title will be written at the top. The table, the title will be written on the top of the table. And then you have number, table 1, you have the title on it. The figure, the chart, the title will be at the bottom of the figure or the figure images. Okay, so you have to. So please, when this thing goes off, you have to relog in again. But the last time you have to relog in, so I believe we have concluded this by then. So once it's out, you log in back. So then you have to summarize your work. I'll be writing it, whatever important figure on the table. Most important, you write it out. You don't write everything in the table. Don't write everything in the figure. In the figure. So you write most important thing. Then you summarize your finding. Then emphasize the significant trend or the outcome. Okay, if there's significant difference, tell us the direction of that significant. That B is significantly higher than B. So don't just say B is significantly different from A. So tell us direction. So you'll be able to get the reader appreciate it. And then if you have a negative report, also report it, either negative or positive. I was supervising the MSc students sometime. And when we did analysis, everything was negative. You say, okay, I said, that's what you get, that's what you report. Yeah, for possible, how will I not get any positive results? I said, no, that's the policy, that is the standard of the study. So whatever you get, that's what you report. So that was reported, and she passed, and then got this MSc. So, but some people will manipulate it, then change the score to positive. It's not ethical. So, provide detailed statistical tests and their results. When you are writing the result, tell us the analysis that bring out result. Maybe square, t-test, ANOVA reported so and so. T-test of analysis reported there are no difference between A and B. So tell us the level of significance. Then you can also tell us the effect size. Okay, clue where relevant to show the practical significance of your result. One can also refer to whether small, whether moderate, or whether high effect size. So we have are you hearing me?
Yes, sir, we can.
Okay, so we left with results. So say you should form table from your sort of analysis and form your figure. And that was to guide you to the writing of your results. And then pay attention to statistical analysis that is used to analyze your data. Mention them in the result, whether t-test, whether ANOVA, whether chi-square, how to mention them in the results. Then you tell us the direction of the significant difference, whether significantly better, whether significantly increase. So always state that. When you just state that in the results, it will confuse the reader, because confuse the editor. But now we want to ask you, because nobody will come to ask you which one is better. But you can only look at the means. Some people that are very detailed, you can go and look at the means, different group, to know which one is higher or lower. But to save people of going to that extent, state direction of the significance. All right, so that is results. Okay. The discussion session is also a very sensitive session where the editor will want to know what you know about the study. What's your result is all about, comparing, say, with the other researcher. Okay. So when you are writing your discussion, you have to start by stating the result briefly. Okay, you have to state the result. You don't state the entire result. State your result briefly. Okay, if you are looking at the hypertension between male and female, and find that male has more high blood pressure, more male has more high blood pressure than female. Okay, so you can say, okay, male was found to have high blood pressure than female in this study. Then, so that is the result. You don't need to state the statistical value for it. Okay, You don't need to state the statistical value for it. Then, so state the result briefly without repeating the detailed data of the result section. Okay. Example is this. This study found that ultrasound therapy interventions significantly improve pain compared to placebo. A placebo is a method where you give something that is not potent to patient. Okay, like maybe drug. There's some active drug. Placebo is not active drug. There's no ingredients, anything in that drug. Just color it and then give to patient. But there's no potency in it. So that's placebo. So we use ultrasound intervention to improve pain compared to placebo, supporting the hypothesis that the ultrasound will reduce better than placebo in patients with arthritis. So that's how you state your result. And then you begin to now comment on that result. Who are the people that support your study? Who are the people that are against it? So you have to quote some literature that support or against. And then after that, you have to tell us the rationale behind that pain reduction, what bring about that pain. So you have to bring out the rationale. So that's how the discussion is written. So you have to explain why your results are as they. Why do you get that such result? What mechanism or factor might explain the findings? Okay. So why do you get such result? What mechanism? So to buttress what we said the other time that ultrasound therapy bring about reduction in pain. So the medicine there is that thermal effects produced by ultrasound machine include dilating the blood vessels, accelerating the blood flow, and reducing and therefore reduce the pain. Okay, the thermal effect, the ultrasound has a heating effect. When the heat gets to the body, it will dilate, it will open up the blood vessels. When the blood vessels opens, the blood will flow more. The blood will flow more into the system. And the more the blood flow more, we believe that the blood will take away all the waste products, all the pain factors in the blood away from that point. So it will bring out reduction of the pain. Okay, so that's the rationale behind. So you must always give rationale, and if your work is not supporting other works, you must state the reason why your own work is different, why the other work is not supporting your work. Maybe they deal with young adults. Maybe your own is adult people. You work on young adults, so that may be the reason. Okay. Are you hearing me? Are you hearing
Yes,
me?
sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, can hear you, sir.
Thank you. So you have to compare your work with literature. Okay. After highlighting your work, your discussion, highlight your research, and back it up with something. So now look for people that support your studies. For example, now, as I put it here, our findings align with those of Adebayo et al. 2020, who reported similar outcome in a different population. However, unlike their study, we observed that the ultrasound therapy also improves sickle function. So your work is in collaboration with that of Adebayo, but in additional thing that we did was to improve function apart from pain. So improve function that, okay, patient can walk very well, patient can exercise more. So it improve function. That is better than the work of the Adebayo. So now discuss the strength and novel contributions, okay? The strength and novel contribution of your work, how your work emphasize the unique aspect of your study, such as innovative method, novel finding, or implication for practice or theory. Okay, example, to our knowledge, this is the first study to evaluate the long-term effect of ultrasound therapy in managing patients with osteoarthritis for a period of 12 weeks. So this is why the study is unique to other one. Other people may use 1 week, may use 2 weeks, but this is a long duration of treatment. Okay, so that uniqueness in your study, you must be able to bring it out. And while you even selecting your title, you must have read so many works. You must be very vast in your field to know where the level of studies are concluded, the level of the study that is going on, so that you're able to improve on whatever you have done. So this 12 weeks improvement over 2 weeks, over 4 weeks. So that's unique. You have to point them out in your own discussion. Okay. Then acknowledge your limitations in your discussion. The editor often wants us to come out with the limitation so that they don't use it they don't use it against us as a comment, negative comment. When you bring it out in your own, then they understand, okay, you have stated the limitation. Okay. Be honest about the limitation of your study. Okay. Sample size may be small, methodology may not be rigorous enough, and then you can say that you should not generalize the findings due to so and so. Okay, and discuss how the limitation might affect the interpretation or application of the findings. Okay, for example, now one limitation of this study is the relative small sample size, which may limit the generalizability of the result to broader population. So we have recognized that the population is very small. Okay, we cannot generalize the finding to other population. Okay, so that's how to write. Always look at your limitation in the discussion. Very, very, very important. No work is always perfect. There's some loopholes. So point it out for the reader and for the editor to be able to appreciate it. Okay. So now propose future direction. Future studies should investigate the effect of ultrasound therapy intervention in larger, more diverse population to confirm these findings and explore comparing its effects with transcutaneous nerve stimulation. That is TENS. So we are proposing that the works will have more people, large population, and diverse population to confirm the efficacy of that intervention, ultrasound therapy. So, and then you can also compare with another modality that is also reducing pain, that is TENS, to make sure that maybe it can also give direction, also give the same thing. So there are something to avoid in discussion. Let's rush it. Over-interpretation of the results. Don't over-interpret your result beyond what it is. Okay? If you find it in this study we talk about maybe osteoarthritis, the joint problem. Okay, don't say that, don't take it to fracture. That if there's maybe it can also hit the fracture pain. So you don't over-interpret your results. Then unwarranted speculation. Don't speculate without any backings. Okay, you must have a good theory to back it up. Once you don't have don't speculate. Okay, and speculate that ultrasound therapy can also, apart from reducing pain, can also treat wound healing. You know that we use it on wound healing, probably it's going to heal. That is speculation. That's unwarranted speculation. Don't speculate, you know, that. Inflating the importance of the finding. Don't inflate the findings. Let the finding be within the scope of your study. Don't extrapolate it to any other one. And then the bully pulpit. Don't attack or criticize any other study negatively. Okay? You can contrast, you can compare your work, but don't attack any investigator. Don't use any derogatory word. Okay? Don't say your work is superior than the work of so and so. And the work of so they are not acceptable. So all these things are not acceptable in the discussion. Okay? Don't bully people, don't cite people, and don't attack people in discussion. Okay? So conclusion, not all the journals require conclusion. There are some journals that require conclusions. Okay? So what you need to do is state your objectives, and then state some major results, state your results, summarize your results, and highlight the implication, and then how the finding contribute to the field, okay, and highlight the potential application or benefit of the study, and the proposed area for further investigation. Okay, so these are the things that you put in your conclusion. Not all the journals say about the conclusion. The conclusion in your abstract is the major result of your study, not recommendation. Many people do put recommendation there. Major result of your study. So when you submit your paper to journal, the editor will receive it. Editor will review it. Okay, editor review it. If it have a merit, you send it to reviewer. But if it lack merit, he will reject it and send it back to you. They are sorry. You have to reject this paper. You have to send it to another place because of high volume of paper we receive. We are not going to consider it. That may be from the editor. Okay, so that's why you need to study their guideline very well. So possible decision after review, rejection by the editor. The editor can return it back to you. You can say publish the manuscript as it is, because there's no correction, there's no amendment, but it's very rare yet done at this stage. Okay, very rare at that stage. Then another one is accept with minor revision. Okay, you can get minor revision. Okay, review it, you send the reviewer decision to you. Okay, review it, and then some will be major revision, like even rewriting the paper again. So major revision, or the last one is rejection, can be rejected. Okay, so paper can be rejected. So sorry, we are not considering this paper. So you should not get discouraged. Even paper that have been rejected are celebrated later. Even the paper that rejected, that the person won Bell Laureate after rejecting the paper, he won the Bell Laureate. So don't be discouraged if your paper is rejected. Always review the editor's comments and send it to another one. So reason for rejection, the poor design is always the reason, major reason, 71%. One, the design is poor. One, the design is faulty. There's no amendment, no correction you can do, because you're not allowed to go and redo it again. So I said you do it again on your own and send it to another journal. Once your paper is rejected, don't appeal. Maybe you want to appeal, don't appeal to that journal again. Leave that journal and go to another journal. Okay? So there's no point in convincing them for them to publish your paper. Then result is 30%. Because you didn't organize your result very well, or you did wrong analysis, okay, can be rejected. Discussion is 28%. Okay, once you don't do good discussion, you don't affect your discussion very well, it doesn't have merit, it doesn't flow very well, you reject it. Then on the importance of the topic, maybe the topic is not interesting, It's not adding anything to, it's not contributing anything to knowledge. Rejected. Okay. So these are the flow for the peer review process. Author submits manuscript. Journal editor screens the manuscript. Manuscript is peer reviewed. Okay. It may be rejected before it is sent to peer review, but when you get to peer review, that means at merit. So when they review it, okay, get the decision from them, and then give you the form of decision. Send it to you, accept with minor correction or major correction, or reject. Okay. As a rejection of manuscripts and manuscript quality, because of large number of submissions, top-tier journals are often forced to reject even high-quality manuscripts for various reasons, like a large number of submissions or lack of fit with journals' editorial focus. Rejection does not mean the manuscript is not good. So bear in mind, don't be dismayed. Encourage yourself. Just do the revision and then send it to another journal. In conclusion, I want to advise us to start writing, form group together, group of experts, call yourself experts, and start writing. Send your journal to Q1, Q2 journals, okay, the high impact journals, which you make your name to be known, make yours, and make you a scholar, and give you recognition worldwide. Don't publish in literary journal. It's not the number of journals. People are keen about number of journals. I have 30 publications. Those 30 publications, they may not have one citation in 1 year. Somebody may have 1 or 2 papers and may have over 1,000 citations. So it is not the number that matters, it's the quality that matters. So I want to thank you for listening. Thank you and God bless you. So if there are any questions.
Hello, Prof.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. So
Yeah.
Thank you very much for your presentation.
Thank you.
Yes, I just have a quick question on issue of references. You said you're talking about citing recent references. So my question is, how recent is recent citations in terms of years?
Okay. Now, it should not be less than 5 years. Less than,
okay.
The frame of 5 years is still recent. The frame of 5 years.
Okay, Prof.
Yes.
Okay, Prof. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Hello, Prof.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. This is Inka Ahmed, sir.
All right.
I really want to, yes, I want to commend you for the presentation. There's no doubt I really get a lot from this. My question is this, sir. I want to ask that, sometimes you have more than one authors, like you are 3 or 4. How do we decide who is going to lead that paper? I mean, the leading author. That's one. And the other one is just a request for the materials for the presentation. I hope you can just help us to get it so that I can see, go with it again. Thank you, sir.
All right. So the first question, the authors, it depends on the on the modality or the collaboration. If you are the one that have that topic, you are the one that generate the idea of that study. You are the one that have the idea, okay, and you call others. I believe you should be the lead author, okay. If you are the one that work on MSc projects, it's your study, and you want to publish a PhD, okay, you should be the lead author, all right? So you must be the lead author. So you have to discuss among yourself who the lead author should be. So it should not be subject of controversy. All right. So you should understand within yourself. Anybody that they have the idea, that have the idea and then coordinate others should be the lead author. All right. The most senior one at times can join and can contribute, but must not be always be lead author. In fact, they prefer to be last author times. So the material is for you, and download the material and use it. Hello.
Hello, Prof. Good.
All right.
Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Thank you very much, sir. I really appreciate. This is the president speaking.
Thank you.
We really thank you
Hello,
for
sir.
the presentation.
Thank you for the presentation, sir.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Janet, over to you.
Oh.
Over to you. Over to you. Thank you. Hello, I think somebody was before. All right. In the absence of no question, I think we can call it a day. We are saying thank you, sir, Prof. We really appreciate. We hope
Hello?
that.
I have a question, please.
Hello.
Hello.
Okay, you have a question. All right, you're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Good afternoon, Prof. Thank you so much for the presentation. Thank you very much, sir. My question is, you may mention that if I write a manuscript to a journal and then maybe due to volume of the journal manuscript being sent to such journal, they now rejected it. And you said that then we should we should not be discouraged. We should look for another journal to submit. Now, if I have this, if I want, for example, now Elsevier, if I want my journal, my manuscript to be published in Elsevier and it was rejected the first time, can't I again try?
Okay, so the same journal.
Hello.
Okay, you are saying that the paper is rejected by journal.
We can hear you.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
can you still submit to that journal?
Yes. Can I? Yes, can I still?
You can submit another manuscript, but not rejected one to that place again. You can submit another journal entirely, another title, another work entirely to such journal, but not the rejected one. The rejected one has been rejected, okay? So you can send that one to another journal and send a new one, because maybe you are not familiar with the operation. You may have made some changes. So subsequently, they will accept the next one from you. It happened to me once. My first international manuscript that I sent out was rejected. Okay, in fact, it was the referral comment was damaged itself. But I was not discouraged. The next one that I now published was accepted there. That was my first international paper. So, but I didn't send the previous one. I sent another one there.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Once you get the reviewer comment, you begin to familiar yourself with what they need, how they think, what they are looking for. So it will help you to prepare the following manuscript very well.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah.
Any other question? Any other question? Any other question? No more question. All right, Prof, we are saying thank you again and again. We really appreciate. There is this public saying that in this journey of academic, it's either you publish or you perish. So for us to succeed in this journey, all of us need to take this more serious. And hopefully we are going to get the recording from you, sir, so that we can make it available for some of our people that are not in this class, as well as for us to listen to it again and again, because I believe mastery comes through repetition, understanding comes through repetition. So we are appealing to you, sir, that you should please make the recording section available for us so that we can go over it again and again and get the best of the teaching. Thank you very much, sir.
No
Thank
problem,
you.
sir.
And to the participant also, we are saying thank you. We are saying thank you. And Prof, sir, hopefully we go for the second leg, sir. hopefully. Thank you very much, sir.
No problem.
All right, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Have a wonderful evening, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate you, sir.
Thank you. God bless you.
Oh. Some people are requesting for the recording on chat box already. We'll make it available on our YouTube page. So you can always visit PGSA YouTube page. Our last section is there also. The webinar on grant writing is on our YouTube page. So, thank you.